Hi guys, I'm Kaushal. I'm a mentor here at the Aero Makerspace. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use the table saw and some quick tips and reminders. So remember to, obviously before we begin, have your safety glasses, loose hair tied back, jewelry tied back, long sleeves tucked up, and now we can get started. So before you start anything, you want to make sure that the table saw is plugged in and the vacuum is plugged in. So I've plugged in our shop vac to our outlet over there, just so you know where you can find one if you need to. And then the other end is you want the vacuum attached right here, so that'll collect sawdust and things as it comes off our part. And now we can start using our table saw safely. So there's a few things to keep in mind with the actual saw. So one is, this is your line. So when it's depressed like that, you can move it around. And using these measurements here, you can align it to the correct length from the blade. The red numbers indicate the extension. So if you want to have an even longer piece, you can take this red lever right here, flip it up, and that'll allow you to take the entire right half of the table and extend it by just there you go. And then you know, for the red numbers to make any sense, it needs to be extended all the way. So there we go. Okay. So then there you go. Now you can use even longer parts. But for our case, we'll push it back, close it up, and we'll just do a small cut. So we'll lock our line into place. The next thing to know is the actual operation. So the blade right now is set at a 0 blade height. You want the blade to cover roughly like 1.5x the height of your workpiece. So I'll just increase it a little bit. And then now we should get going. Should you ever need to, and remember, only do this if you have a mentor's permission and a mentor's present, but you can actually remove the blade guard to do some tighter cuts by just pushing in and then lifting up. Okay, but we'll keep it in because it's almost always better to have one unless you have a reason not to have it in. Finally, I guess we can get started. So let me go ahead and grab our test piece. That's it. Honestly, this is overkill. The bandsaw would be perfect for this, but if we need very precise lengths, this can kind of do some of that work for you. So to turn on the blade saw or the table saw, there's a couple things to know. So first you want to flip it to on, okay? And now you're gonna wait until it's only blinking green, all right? And this is engaging also like the saw stop mechanism and stuff like that, which is like, one of its safety features. So that's why you have to wait, otherwise the blade won't work. And then once it's green, pulling this lever will trigger the blade, so I'll show you. You can turn it off by pushing this, and then you can turn it off just like normal. But remember to have your vacuum on while you're doing this, so it'll be a little loud, so that's why I want to tell you guys everything before we begin. Once you're actually cutting the piece, right, it helps to have, if your piece is long enough, you can use both hands. If it's not, you want to make sure you have a push stick so you're pushing your piece all the way through past the little guards at the end and then taking your piece off, just like operating any of our other cutting machines. And I think that's it, so we'll get started. Decrease the blade height just a tad. And one other final thing with the table saw is the blade has a significant thickness that you can't ignore, so you need to account for the thickness of the blade when you're doing your length measurements. It's roughly an 1/8 inch thick. Okay, all right, let's get started. The final thing I want to mention, which you guys may have seen in that video, is this blade has a lot of kickback. So it's really important that you're gripping your piece firmly, and it's also important to not have, which is why we set up our table saw this way, is to not have people like standing right behind the blade. And in fact, in some cases for particularly difficult parts, it might even help to stand just offset from the blade. Okay, I think that should be everything. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off all of our tools, and thank you. I'll see you in the next video.